Hello, and welcome to the podcast, It's a Matter of Life and Death, a podcast by Annie Anderson and the Energy Medicine Clinic, one where we look to support, align, guide, and empower conversations that are tricky, passionate, and emotional about life and death. Thanks for joining us. Good morning, everybody. So excited as I sit here, not only because I'm in my new space that I repotted myself into, but because I'm joined again here in the studio by a woman that we had earlier on the podcast. And unbeknownst to you, we also have a part one. This is part two. So yeah, I'm just so excited. I can't even control my thoughts here. Welcome back, Nikole.
Thank you so much.
This is awesome. Okay, so part two. So part one, you've already heard, and now we get to delve into part two of Nikole's trip to Costa Rica and her ayahuasca experience. Welcome, and let's just jump right in. Tell us all the things. Hashtag all the things about what happened and why you went and what you learned, and I'll poke in some questions here and there, and
Okay.
you have the mic.
All right. Okay, so I went to Rhythmia, which is the world's only medically licensed ayahuasca treatment center. And so they have doctors. I was assessed by a nurse and a doctor when I first got there to have medical clearance. And they have psychologists there, like trained counselors. And it is actually a hospital in Costa Rica that we are there. They call it a life advancement center, but
not like a hospital like we would think of.
No, not at all. It was like a resort.
Okay.
And with different, there was like the rooms and such, and then like the cafeteria kind of area and a pool, and and then they had like the main ceremony building is called the Maloka, and we did yoga and breath work, and then the ceremonies were all in the Maloka. And then during the day they had classes in the conference room and helping us to learn more about kind of the science around ayahuasca and helping us to integrate and like the psychology. It was like the therapy lessons after the medicine to help understand kind of what was going on, to help process what had happened the night before. So I arrived there on Sunday and had like an orientation meeting and just kind of met some people. And then
This is a closed cohort of people that you're there for the week with?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people were there?
In my group, it was about 50 probably.
Wow. Okay.
Which they said is a smaller class. They have up to like 75, 80.
Okay.
Is like a more full class, which I really enjoyed that our class was so small. Because there was even people that even after being there for a week, like I recognized them, but I didn't talk to them or like
no connection.
I had never interacted with them, which is fine. You're called to where you need to go and drawn to who you are and whatnot. So it would have been Sunday night. I arrived and they had a breath work session, was probably about an hour. And so to give a little bit of background, so the ayahuasca is a psychedelic plant medicine, and the main component of it that creates the psychedelics is DMT. And you drink the ayahuasca and the DMT is in high levels in the brain, and that causes visions and things, and the medicine goes where it needs to. However, in breath work, the way that they have designed their breath work sessions, they can you do the breathing and that creates DMT naturally in your brain. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so Sunday, I had not even seen or been around any of the actual ayahuasca, but we were in the breathwork session and it was incredible. I didn't have any visions, but I for sure was on another dimension. Like my mind was not connected to my body, and I was just floating and feeling so much peace And I had a similar feeling in my body with you just a week or so before I went to Costa Rica. We had that sound bath,
Yep.
the spring equinox
Yep.
session. And the music there was very, very beautiful and uplifting, and the meditation and things. So that was similar in body, but in the breath work there. So first night, amazing breath work.
So like an appetizer.
Yes.
Okay.
And then they had a sharing circle after, and I got up and shared and said, I don't know what else is going to happen. If nothing else happens, this was worth it.
Okay.
Like an hour of breath work was worth.
That's quite a testimonial for the amount of time and money and effort to get there.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was only just the beginning.
Okay.
And I was already like,
we're here.
yes,
We're doing it.
This is it. I'm so excited. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Just don't clap.
Nope.
So, yeah, Monday we started off with yoga in the morning. It was very beautiful.
What time are you up in the morning?
Yoga starts at 7.
Okay.
And yeah, we had yoga, and then they had one of the facilitators give a class and discuss, like, to help us understand the intentions with ayahuasca and kind of how the medicine works. So the first intention that they have is, show me who I have become. And this works on the idea of all humans have what they call the split. And this is not just in ayahuasca, like other psychologists and other
modalities,
mental health facilitators understand and know this, that sometime between the ages of 5 to 10, usually, something happens in our life that causes us to split, and meaning that we separate from the pure and innocent creature that we are as a child. Something happens to make us think and see that we can't live like that anymore, and we have to protect ourselves. It's like the birth of the ego.
Okay.
Starts and says, this thing happened to us, and now we have to act in this way so that we will be loved and accepted. For me, I learned and realized, and already knew before I even stepped on the plane to go to Costa Rica, I knew that my split was me. I was sexually assaulted when I was 6. And that created the split for me. And my ego said, you know, as a 6-year-old, you can't even developmentally comprehend what just happened, but that betrayal and that feeling of uncomfortable, all of that was the reason of why we need to put on the armor. I need to protect myself, because if I continue how I used to be, we're not going to make it.
Now, does it have to always be something that tragic?
No, not at all. There were so many examples of sharing similar things of what I shared, that we were sexually assaulted. But one of the facilitators said that his split was, and I don't remember the specifics, but he and his dad, he was 5, and he asked his dad to pour him a cup of juice or something. And his dad just offhanded said, well, can't you do it yourself? Or something like that. It was
very
just
innocuous.
Totally innocent, and even could have been from the dad's point of view, like joking around. But the teacher took that as 5 years old, saying, I need to do what I can do to please him instead of please myself. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a little confusing even as I'm saying it, but it can be something so simple. It doesn't have to be something as tragic and devastating as being sexually abused. It's just something that as a child, your understanding is that I need to act in a separate, different way than who I am.
Right.
So that I can be loved.
Accepted.
Exactly.
Safe.
I need to change who I am so that I fit in, and we can be safe now. And that split then carries on for the rest of your life.
It's like a fork in the road. And you
100%.
choose a fork in the road. You go down a path that you wouldn't have normally gone if you'd stayed on your path of perfection.
Right.
Okay.
And this happens to all of us,
Okay.
no matter what. And they...
Oh, that's the furnace. Let me just turn the furnace off, folks, here.
Maybe pause.
No, I just grabbed the wrong cord.
Okay.
There we go. This is what happens in a real life podcast.
Yeah.
Life happens.
We're real.
Okay, we're back.
So, yeah, the facilitator said, even if you have the most loving parents and you grow up in the super amazing, loving, kind family, somewhere, some way, you will still have the split. It's what happens as human beings.
So as listeners here, we shouldn't all be thinking, oh gosh, I have totally ruined my kids. Somehow it's my fault. I'm a terrible person. No, this is life.
Right.
This is what happens.
This is part of being a human,
Right.
and this is how humans
human
survive.
experience. Okay,
100%.
good. Okay.
It's like the birth of the ego.
Okay.
To say, I have to act in this way to be loved.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that's flawed because we live in the world that we live in, and yeah.
It's not perfect.
No.
Okay.
And it was good that you brought that up because I felt near the end of the week that, like, I've already done it. I've already fucked my kids up. Like, because I'm not there for them the way that I think I need to be. And
Stuff's
it was
happened.
just feeling a lot of, extra pressure and stress. And when they explained, like, no, you can't prevent it from happening. What you can do is just be there with them, loving them and supporting them.
Yep.
And now I'm like...
Supporting them and coming back to their path of perfection before the split?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't know that, like...
Don't know maybe it works that way.
Yeah, I don't know that I personally am able to be like, here's what your split is. Like, I think
Right.
for me, that was the medicine.
Right.
Showed me that, like, being on ayahuasca and helps me understand everything that I just said.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
It's backed up, like I said, from other psychologists. And you can go to talk therapy and EMDR, and all of those things are wonderful ways. Ayahuasca is just very intense and I think very deep. And
Okay. So the first intention that you learn is show me who I have become. Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's because of the split.
right.
Okay.
And so for me, for the past 30 years, I have become this person that lives for other people. And, starting when I was 6, I had to fit into this specific box so that I would be safe and accepted. And when you see and realize that of like who you are, it isn't like that sweet, innocent, perfect being. It's something like inauthentic.
Okay.
And excuse me, the medicine shows you the things, like the habits that you're doing and the ways that you are, the behaviors, the belief systems that you have.
The byproducts of this.
Totally. So understanding, like, I had a belief system that I wasn't good enough. And that was from when I was 6. I believed, like, well, if I was good enough, that wouldn't have happened to me, and it did. So it's my fault, and I'm not good enough. And I have felt that in so many different ways, especially in my adult life. But now understanding it, that it started when I was 6, I can see, like, examples of that through high school and interacting with my friends and when I started dating and just...
Right.
And then as a mom, I'm not good enough. And just
It's been
that.
reinforced.
Totally. And that's the power of the human brain. Is like you tell it something and it will find ways to prove that to be true.
Yes. That's why the power of thought is so important. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're going to be right.
Exactly.
Okay.
And they talked a lot about that in the classes of like, change your brain and you change your life.
Yeah.
And what you resist persists. There were so many like little nuggets of things that I had heard with you and with my other therapists and, memes on Instagram, little things that I had heard and seen and known to be true in my head, but just never had it like
plugged into your heart.
and deeply sunk into my being and like a true understanding of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like ayahuasca helped to bridge the gap between what I knew in my head and what I know in my heart. And it connected those.
Okay.
So Monday night was the first night of ceremony. It was so beautiful. I was just in awe because there was one main shaman, his name was Ronnie, and then probably 10 or 12 assistant shamans, and there was musicians. They had guitars and drums and shaker things,
Yep,
and
rattles.
they all gathered and were putting their intention and their blessing on the medicine. And we would just sit there. So how it works in the Maloka, it's a very big open space, and they have twin mattresses and a blanket and a pillow and a bucket for the ceremony. And you're just kind of, they have women on one side and men on the other side. And you just kind of
What was the split?
I would say there was a little bit more women, but it was probably pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just remember sitting in the first ceremony and just being like, wow, this is like so magical. And so I was just in awe because being raised Mormon, it was very much like straightforward, cut and dry, very patriarchal and very dry.
Okay. And in a box.
Yeah. This was just like, I can't even explain it to the right depth.
If I could have people see your face right now, I wish they could, because I see the magic in your face.
Yes. I was just in awe. They are shaking and singing, and I don't know what language they were speaking. Maybe it'll come to me. It wasn't Spanish. It was something else. And they were blessing the medicine. So we get called up, and you go up and we had our specific cup, and they fill it with the medicine, and they say, hold it and like put your intention of what you're wanting in the cup and then drink it. And so I said, show me who I've become. Help me to see the ways that I am living that are not who I actually am. And I mean, let me tell you, Annie, ayahuasca tastes like shit. It's so gross. Like, it's so gross.
Is it bitter?
It's kind of like, it's like a dark,
moldy?
thick, purpley, like, it's kind of fruity, but like
Sour? How much was
bitter.
in the cup?
It's like a shot glass.
So
Less than this. Like,
Okay.
the
So, like-
glass is like this. It's like a regular shot glass.
okay, so like 1 ounce?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like thicker, kind of gritty,
Okay.
and it's purple.
Do you sip it or shoot it?
You just like chug it. Like, you just like,
You don't have to roll it around your teeth and your gums. And,
no, I
okay.
couldn't. And like,
Do they give you a candy for your mouth afterwards or anything?
no, they said that if like the next day, they said if you're struggling with the taste, then you can get some honey and mix it in.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
I mean, then that's gonna make honey taste yucky to me. Like,
Yeah,
no
the
thanks.
association.
I'll just dig deep, power through, get through it. You got this. So you take the first cup, and then go back and just lay on your mattress. And it was probably like an hour and a half where we're just meditating, just quiet, letting the medicine start to work.
Not to diminish the beauty of this, but were the mattresses covered in plastic?
Sorry, it was just like a sheet. It wasn't like a bare mattress. It was like a sheet, like a
Because I just
twin.
I've heard all sorts of stories about like the expulsions that happen, and I'm just trying to think of like the sanitation aspect of that.
And that's what I really loved about knowing that this facility is a hospital.
Right.
They have it cleaned every night, and like it's like
Western grade cleanliness.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes. So they have, I don't know what it is, that foamy jigsaw plastic puzzle stuff that's like foamy floor thing. They have that covering the whole floor of the Maloka. And yeah, then they had like, the mattresses were okay, comfortable wise, and then covered with a twin mattress and then a little fuzzy blanket and a pillow.
Okay.
Yeah, so just resting and meditating. And I was just thinking about Peter the whole time. Like, to go back, they explained in the class how the ayahuasca like manifests in your body, like how it feels when you're on the medicine. There's 4 different ways. So the first is in your body.
Sequentially or simultaneously?
It can like mix
In and
around.
out.
You
Okay.
can do this one for a little bit and then go to have a vision. And so there's body. That's when you're feeling it. I was super sweaty. I mean, we're in the jungle. It's 35 degrees.
Yeah.
We started this around like 5:30 was when
PM.
ceremony starts, PM. And the sun sets there at like, I think like 6:30 every day.
Yeah.
And like all year. It was so cool. But also, I don't know. Never mind.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, totally is.
Okay.
So yeah, the sun is setting and we're watching the shamans get the medicine ready and the sun is going and we can see out through the windows and see the palm trees and hear the birds chirping. And it was just like setting the scene for this amazing, beautiful
Were the shamans in like a
ceremony.
ceremonial dress?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
The costumes and the clothes.
Okay.
They were wearing like headdresses and jewelry and it was like...
Okay, beautiful.
I want those clothes. So yeah, first is the body. You feel it. I was really sweaty. They say yawning is a really way
Sure, you're releasing.
energy. It's just energy flowing in and out. And so yawning, crying, then like once you start to purge, vomiting and diarrhea, basically like pooping out.
Yep.
Because the medicine is going into your body and releasing all of those stored, trapped emotions. So to explain it, when you have a negative feeling, there is a chemical reaction in your brain that creates a negative emotion and a negative chemical in your brain that needs to be released some way, somehow. You can cry, scream, throw something, move your body, dance, storm, barf, whatever. It needs to flow through your body so that it can be released.
Yep.
And if it's not, then it's stored. And I know you've said it, dis-ease leads to disease. So something happens and it hurts your feelings in your brain, that sends a negative something and it's stored in your body.
The issues are stored in the tissues.
100%. I have it stored in my hips, my back, like, you know, and other health ailments start to show up because of these trapped emotions. And so when ayahuasca is first starting, she's going through learning about you and finding out where do I need to go and what do I need to do
You say
here.
she, like the medicine is a...
And the medicine
personified.
is a mother ayahuasca. And we'll get to that.
Okay.
Because it was a huge part of my journey too.
Okay.
So you can feel it in the body. You yawn. And once it started to get going, then people started to vomit. And the second one is a consult. So like a conversation or that's how I kind of had it. Like I was having conversations. I say that I just thought about Peter for the first hour and a half. We were having a conversation. Like he was there with me and I was asking him questions about us and our relationship and learning and even just feeling in myself, like kind of the inadequacies that I feel or the anxieties there. But also the peace, the grounding that I feel with him. And that brought that feeling of safety to me laying on my mattress in Costa Rica. The third, that consult, body consult, visions is another one. So, and visions and sacred geometry are very closely tied. So I also had visions of, like, I was seeing Peter while we're talking. And then once it got going, I would, like, even eyes open or closed, be seeing, like, shapes. And it was moving around and kind of sparkly. And they have pictures of it when it's like...
Have you considered trying to capture any of those visions through the use of AI?
I haven't, but I want to draw it. So they have like wall hangings and stuff. And like
Okay.
it's a specific pattern
Okay.
of this sacred geometry.
And was it shared, that pattern? Was that experienced by multiple people, that same pattern?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, you could buy it in the gift shop. They
Okay.
have like it's like,
Wow.
so what it is that ayahuasca is going in and healing your brain and creating new pathways.
Yep.
And as
Neurogenesis.
it's doing that, you see it as the colorful shapes that swirl. And yeah, it was, that part I really liked. It was really cool and then once I knew that was like, I'm literally watching my brain be healed.
Yeah.
And not even needing to understand the where or the how or the why or the who. It was just like, she's going in there and healing, fixing my brain, creating new pathways, like the neuroplasticity of your brain after ayahuasca, like learning new things. I'm picking up Spanish and like creating new habits in your brain because your brain is like
clean,
trained exactly and ready and like
sponging
to learn new things. And because ayahuasca goes in there and cleans everything out and saying, no, we don't need to think that way anymore. That's like the old way.
This is a bad use of resources.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's use our energy for this, and this is love. And I saw that in my vision of the sacred
Patterning.
the special shapes. And
Yeah.
it was sparkly and cool. And then the last one, I don't think anybody that had it there. The last one is called nada, or nothing. It's very rare that once you take the ayahuasca knows that what you are needing to process is so intense that you don't need to even be there to witness it, that the medicine will do the work. So you literally just fall asleep and you stay asleep
In absentia.
the entire ceremony.
No puking, no pooping, no.
Nope. Because ayahuasca goes and heals back 7 generations in the past and then 7 generations in the future. And so there could be things from your ancestors that if you were to witness or watch that, like it would be harmful.
it would wreck you.
And she knows. Like that's the music or the magic and the beauty of this medicine is that she intimately studies and knows and would be able to see, this is not for you. I need to fix this, but you can just go to sleep. Have a nap, baby girl.
Yep.
And wake up and you're better.
Sort it out.
Yeah. Nobody had that.
Okay.
I did like fall asleep a little bit, but I was still having conversations and like grounding myself, thinking of you and knowing these things and like what resists persists and issues in the tissues, the body keeps score, like all those little sayings that I was just like,
So
drawn to.
were you brought back in a way of remembering the events? Like, did you have visions of the events that were stored?
So, no, not yet. So we're still here Monday night.
Okay.
We're going and it was fine, beautiful meditation. Like it's getting dark. So they turn down all the lights. It's dark. I can hear the sounds of the jungle. It's hot. It was just like, I like this a lot. And having conversations with Peter and, I thought then to my mom, and my mom passed away from cancer in December of 2022. And I was just remembering her, having conversations with her. I was really upset and mad at her. And I started crying. And I was like bawling, crying. And I think this was probably after the second cup. So first cup, we take, everyone goes back to their mattresses. We just meditate. And then they prepare the medicine and we go up and they say the second cup is ready. So we go up and get our second cup. And then that's when people started barfing. And I have never been so uncomfortable in my whole life. I hated it. The listening to other people.
Yeah, the
it was
sympathetic
just,
barfing.
Yes, and like
The smell.
The smell I didn't notice.
No? Okay.
Because they have so the shamans are there and they're all on the medicine and in tune with the energy and flowing, and they have like all of the assistants.
Are the
They
shamans
come-
barfing too then?
Very stealthily.
Okay.
I was never in the awareness to know and see and watch another shaman like puking, but they say it happens.
But maybe
they're
if
also,
they've done it so many times, they're pretty clean vessels.
And they more just like spit,
Right.
I think, than like a big purge. But I mean, even if they do, like they will take
turns.
And they will take themselves kind of not away, but like
discretionary.
And just kind of sort their own things. So that was the beautiful part of it too, was that the shamans were there for us to share and guide and love. And they had I think it was hape, maybe, which is like a tobacco, it's a derivative of tobacco in some way that indigenous people smoke. I've done it previously, that you it gets like shot into your sinus cavity, and then it's only like a 15-minute high, but it's like very emotional and connecting and stuff. But I think that they chewed it in their mouth while they were in the ceremony, so that it helps the shamans to put aside their own views or their own beliefs or their own struggles.
Bias,
they are just there to be the channel of love and
the hollow
connection.
Bone.
Totally, for the medicine and guidance. So it's like they are literally there like for us. And so after the second cup, people started barfing, and I really hated it. Like, I felt so uncomfortable. I was just like plugging my ears and closing my eyes and like singing to myself, like, I don't like this. I don't want to hear you barf anymore. And
were you still of mind to be able to?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you get like, once you're on ayahuasca, like you're drunk basically. Like I would notice walking to the bathroom that I was like, it's swaying and stumbling a little bit. Like, you're enough with it. Like, I'm not gonna like pass out, but almost, because I did just be like, okay, I need to just sit back down again, and then just like center. And I was talking with my mom and felt really a lot of heaviness with her grief, and I was so angry and wanted her back, and I was bawling. And a shaman came and said, sister, can I help? And then she put like a soothing lotion on my arms, and just like her touch, and she was making the special noise. They have a noise that is the noise of when the baby comes out of the womb. And it's very like good. It's like a whoosh, that kind of noise. And she was doing that over me, and like put her hands on my head and was blessing me and helping me. And then I said, I just need you to stay and help me breathe, please. And she said, of course. So she didn't ask like what I was struggling with or anything, but just was there to support me and to love me, and put this soothing like lotion on, and it was like cooling. And then I was just able to like breathe, because they always say your breath is the thing that you can control, and that's what's going to bring you back wherever you're going in your mind. Breathe and relax, and like breathe into it. And sitting there with her breathing was able to calm me down and help me to like release all that grief and all that like anger that I had.
The breath is the vehicle.
Yes. And then for the rest of Monday, I just was like so uncomfortable.
And
like,
how long? Like, so you started at 5:30?
5:30, and we were done. I got back to my hotel or my room at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so like 7 hours.
And they have it so that we stop eating lunch at 2. So we're like fasting, and then you're allowed to drink a water, or like they have special juices that help to with electrolytes and help to keep you hydrated. Excuse me, knowing that you're very likely going to be
Needing that.
barfing and pooping lots. And so
not uncontrolled pooping, like you had the wherewithal to get yourself to the bathroom.
Like,
okay, that's what I was thinking about with the mattresses. Like, are you just laying there crapping yourself?
No, like, okay. I mean, I think that happens a little bit, but if there was ever like a huge mess, like they would come and change the mattresses or like clean it up or whatever. Right. But even like I was not aware or caring about other people. Like the one person who I was sitting next to for the first ceremony, I remember she was crying and I really wanted to reach out and hold her hand and just felt like that. I want to make it better for you, but I can't. And they said, mind your own business. Because you could be having the most beautiful, in your mind, the most beautiful ceremony, and you're seeing God and like surrounded by angels and love, but on the outside you're bawling, and it could be like it's just a different perception. And they said, just stay in your lane, you know, mind your own business. Exactly.
Because you don't want to ruin their experience.
Exactly. Don't touch anyone. Don't talk to anyone. Just stay in your lane and keep to yourself. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, I'm next to her and I hear her crying, and I was so uncomfortable listening to other people barf. I wasn't like, beyond my mom and a little bit Peter at the beginning, I was just like, I hate this. This is the worst. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. And then Leslie was the woman next to me, and she was crying, and all I wanted to do was just hold her hand and like help make it better, but I couldn't, and I felt like limited. And like we talked about it the next day, and that's being like a caregiver. Like, you're a healer and you have empathy for others. And at the beginning, when people started to throw up, I just remembered my kids, and it was like, I can handle it, because if you're sick, just let it out, get it out. But like, I want to be there and help you and like rub your back and like just snuggle and make it better. And listening to, 50 strangers. And just a side note, men are really yucky barfers and loud. And it was just like, this is so uncomfortable. And then I was missing my kids, and again, not feeling good enough.
Really activated.
Of like, yeah. And now understanding that the medicine was showing me things that I needed to be that uncomfortable. I needed to remember my kids and like feel that draw of like, I want to help you, and understand that that is a beautiful part of me. However, I have to put myself first. I can't be worrying about a stranger and wanting to hold her hand when it's like, I got my stuff I need to figure out too. And just finding that,
triaging yourself as a priority.
Yes. And being able to find that balance. Like, and I've heard it from several therapists. You can't pour from an empty cup. Well, my cup has holes in it. And yet here I am trying to fix and help you. And like, no, I got to work on me. And I've known and seen that even in my life before ayahuasca. Like, I took a step, and like my kids live with their dad, and I took a step back from full-time parenting because I needed to heal myself. I was just causing more pain from trying to do it the way that I thought everyone else needed me to be, this mom, and here's how it looks, here's what you need to do. But being able to listen to me and take a step back, and the change that I've seen in myself since doing that is like, I'm a way better mom. I can be there for them and hold space for their emotional needs rather than it just triggering mine. Yeah. And being like reactive and angry and yelling at them and causing more harm. Now it's like, well, I don't see them every day, yet when I do see them, I'm more connected and more supportive and loving and the parent that I want to be versus just reacting.
Right.
So yeah, that was Monday night. At the end of the ceremony, so the shamans just kind of read the energy in the room and kind of see how things are going. After the second cup, they say, you're welcome to come up if you're wanting any more. Kind of like the more you drink.
Did many people go for a third?
Oh yeah, there was one girl. And it's not as much as you would think. Like, so ayahuasca, it's like, it's not a drug in that, you know, when you drink alcohol, the more you drink, the more you need to drink
Right.
to feel the effects. Ayahuasca is not like that. It's like the more you drink, the less you need, because it's just like, it's even in me still.
Okay.
And yeah, so there was this one girl. She was, you know, little petite miss. She had 6 cups. And I was only ever having 2. And I know that there was, big grown up men.
Was it her first time?
Yep. So they don't limit it on to like how much after the second cup until a specific time. Once they're like, Kate, no, the bar is closed.
Yeah.
We're just,
last call.
Right. Right. We're just getting, now whatever you have in, let's
Write it
let
out.
that magic work on you.
So were you up at 7 a.m. the next day?
Well, I was supposed to be, but I didn't set my alarm, and I just woke up so I was in a room with 3 twin beds. So there was 2 other people. I had 2 other roommates, and I didn't wake up until the other roommate woke up, and it was like 8:15. I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to yoga. Oops.
And how did you feel that next morning? Hungover,
Oh,
so to speak?
not hungover, just tired.
Okay.
Because I didn't get back
late
to my
night.
room. I didn't
Okay.
get back to my room till 2:30, and then one of my roommates was a snorer, so I was just like, and you are like
Tired.
drunk.
Yeah.
You are coming off of the medicine, so it's like tiring, and you just moved
Purged.
around a lot of emotions. For Monday night, I was very much like resisting barfing because I had asked one of the teachers if I could have a diaper, because I'm like, I've had 4 kids, and when I barf, I'm going to pee my pants. And he was like, oh, well, it's like if you get a diaper, then you're like manifesting that you're going to shit your pants. And I was like, no, I'm not worried about pooping. I'm worried about peeing my pants when I barf.
Because physiologically, you
Totally.
have less...
I'm like, I know that my pelvic floor is shot to hell, and I'm going to pee my pants when I barf. And if
Yep.
you're telling me that that's what the medicine's going to do to me, then I would like to have an Adderall diaper. Oh, yeah, you can do that then if you want. And I was like, okay, where would I get one of those? Because, I didn't clue in that was going to be part of it, and I didn't bring one. He was like, oh, we don't have any. I was like, okay, that sucks. So then going in Monday night, I didn't have a diaper, and I was just like, pushed that away. I am not barfing because I am not peeing my pants. I only have so many clothes. I only had this one specific outfit that was comfy and loose fitting because, I'm like, it's hot and I don't want to be confined in a tighter shirt or shorts. I need flowy, and I'm not
ruining that.
peeing in it the first night. So even just psychologically and mentally, I just was like, nope, not going there. I am not barfing. And so I was resistant to that. And I don't think I let the medicine do the
As much
real
as it
work
could've.
as it could have on Monday night because I was so resistant. Well, then Tuesday during classes, I asked someone else I kind of commented and was like, I wish that I would have had a diaper because hearing other people's experiences and I wish that I had let myself get to that level, but I hadn't because of the diaper, and I wish that they had diapers. And the worker was like, oh, there's diapers in the gift shop. And I was like,
Oh.
you're kidding me. So then me and another woman went to the gift shop, got a diaper, and I was like, okay, great. I'm in here. I don't give a fuck. I know what my body can and cannot do, and I have no shame. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Put me in a diaper because then I'm going to puke and I'm going to get better.
Yeah.
Great. All in. Tuesday night, the ceremony starts and was led by a different shaman. And it was different music and different vibe energy. Tuesday was a stronger medicine. I'm not totally sure if I think it was like having a double instead of a single.
Right, like an espresso instead of a coffee.
Totally, just stronger and different. Still ayahuasca, but different strain and stronger.
And different intention.
Exactly.
What was the intention of the Tuesday night?
So it wasn't necessarily in Monday's intention is this. Tuesday, it was just these are the intentions.
The global
and kind
intentions.
of go with the flow.
Okay.
So the second intention was merge me back to my soul at all costs.
Okay.
And that is explaining how we see, once you see what you've become, Mother Ayahuasca shows you what you've become. And now merge me back to my soul. Take me back to my pure form. Take me back. Help me erase my ego. Take me back to
This original pattern of perfection.
person who I'm meant to be, who I always was, but was hiding underneath armor of false belief systems. I'm not good enough. You must have been a really shitty kid because that's what happened to you. You deserved that. All of those negative, bad self-talk, all of those harmful beliefs, like, we don't need that anymore. And ayahuasca heals me, or merge me back to my soul at all costs. So that was my intention, because I had kind of understood. I talked at the end of Monday. They had a sharing circle, and then people were saying that was amazing, beautiful, and I was like, fuck that. I hated it. Listening to everyone else barf, like, I have never been so uncomfortable. Like, I don't know if this is the right thing for me.
Look on your face right now.
Oh, I hated it so much, Annie. Like, I have never been that uncomfortable. It just was the worst. And I asked the shaman, like, I hate this. And I'm bawling and just like, this is not the good. I made a mistake. This is not the right thing for me. And he said, oh, because too, like, I have whiplash. I was rear-ended at the beginning of March. So I'm going down. I don't have my pillow. It's hot. I have this stupid, like, flumpy, stupid shit pillow, and just, like, not comfortable. And I was like, I don't even want to go back to my room. I want to go back to my house. Like, I want my pillow. I'm so uncomfortable. My whole body hurts. My back, my legs, everything's hurting. I just don't like this. And Ronnie, the shaman, said, I can understand that you want your pillow. Right now, though, you don't have your pillow. And the ayahuasca is showing you these things and helping you to see. You feel uncomfortable because of people barfing. When was the first time that you felt uncomfortable? When did you feel this uncomfortable before? And I realized that I felt that uncomfortable when I was 6, when I was sexually abused. And like talking with him and realizing that that was what the medicine showed me. Show me what I've become, that I'm not good enough, that I'm hurting and all of this pain and I'm this uncomfortable. That was from the split. And then throughout the classes on Tuesday, then I kind of realized, okay, that was show me what I've become. So then Tuesday night, I was like, merge me back to my soul. And yeah, Tuesday was rough. So rough. Like, so at the beginning of the ceremony, like, the shaman explains and kind of gives another rundown and just their own kind of perception, their flavor of the month kind of thing. Like, and it's so individual, and that's what's so beautiful. Like, you could take ayahuasca 450 times and it's going to be 450 different journeys and different experiences, because you learned from the night before, and it's just like, it's like a Rubik's Cube. Every single little thing is different and it impacts you, and you learn. And even explaining this in this way, I'm understanding it better of what happened Monday night to lead me into Tuesday, which I didn't know at the time going into it. So Tuesday, the shaman's explaining, like, yawning and burping. You can laugh and cry. These are all ways that the medicine is moving the energy, and that's part of the flow. Great. Okay. So even at the end of Monday, I had gotten a little bit, like, not so, la la la, I can't hear you, I don't want to hear you barfing, like covering my ears and just like dissociating, because I was just dissociating basically the whole time. Like, I hate this so much. I'm just imagining myself back at my house in my bed. And then the shaman on Tuesday said, you can laugh and cry, and this is all part of it. Great. So first cup, we just lie on our beds and meditate. And then after the second cup, and even a little bit before, people start purging. And they talked in the class, like, that is people shedding what's not serving you. It's the medicine helping you literally purge it, get it out. You don't need to haul this around anymore. Get it out of your body. And you do that mostly through purging and pooping.
Yeah.
And
were there people like screaming and yelling and
not to like that super extent. They kind of said, we'll kind of get into that.
Okay.
It was just really loud.
Okay.
And like,
okay.
gross. It was super uncomfortable. And now I see that like ayahuasca knew that I needed to feel so uncomfortable. She needed to create a situation where I would feel that same level of discomfort as I felt when I was being abused when I was 6. And believe you me, it worked. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And so second cup on Tuesday night, and I had been okay-ish then, like understanding like I'm glad for you and I'm sending you love when you're purging and it's loud and that it's a distraction. It's an interruption in my brain of flow of my thoughts. But I send you love and I'm glad that you're getting rid of stuff you don't need. And that's
change your
cool
perspective.
For me. Totally.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll lean into it. Oh, because Ronnie from Monday night said, just find your comfort, find your softness. And when you're feeling so uncomfortable, breathe. Breathe into your softness and bring that here. No, you don't have your pillow. No, you don't have your clothes. You don't have your bed. But you have you. You have your body. You have your breath. And breathe into your softness. And at first I was just like, yeah, okay. Like, still so mad and so uncomfortable. So then Tuesday night, people start purging, and I was like, that's good. I'm sending you love. And then there was one that was kind of gross, but kind of funny. And I started laughing. And they even said that we could laugh. So I start laughing. And I was laughing. If you know me, I have a loud laugh. And it kind of, laughter is infectious. And other people started laughing too. And then one of the assistant shamans comes to me and says, sister, we need to respect the silence of the ceremony, and I need you to be quiet now. And I was just like, instantly like, excuse me? But I thought that you said that we were allowed to laugh. She said, well, when we laugh, then she didn't even actually explain it. She just was like, if you're needing to laugh, then you can step outside the maloka and you can go outside. And I was just like, instantly like rage. So triggered and so angry. It was like, you are telling me that I'm too loud, that I have a loud laugh, that I'm too much. All of these things that I have felt my whole life. I started bawling. I was just like, you lied to me. You sat up at the front of this room and you said that I could laugh, and I did, and now you're taking it back. Like, how dare you? I don't feel safe here. You lied to me. I'm so betrayed. And I just start bawling. It was like literally 30 years of being too much. And I have heard that and felt that and been shown that my whole life, that I'm too much. And it was just like all compiled on me. I was bawling. I have not cried that hard. Like, it was so intense. And I don't remember if I was escorted out or if I just took myself out. I think I took myself out because it was just like, I'm too loud and I can't be in here anymore because I'm wrecking it for everyone else and I need to go. So the rules of the ceremony was the main ceremony is in the maloka, and then they had right outside a fire, and like under a shelter was a fire, and then they had hammocks along like a grassy area, and then hammocks. And then they instructed us at the beginning of every ceremony, and we even raised our hand to commit that we will stay within the limits of the ceremony, and like the hammocks is the border. And so now feeling like I'm not safe, I have to leave, I have to get out of here because like, you betrayed me. I have to get out. I have to leave. And I'm bawling. So I asked for help. One of the shamans came and directed me, and I got into a hammock. And this is probably like probably 9 or 10
Oh,
at
so
night.
early.
So it's dark, but yeah. And I'm just like I had my blanket and I'm laying in the hammock and I'm like screaming, crying, so betrayed. I cannot trust. Like, you lied to me. You said I was allowed to laugh and then I'm not allowed to laugh. Like,
now I'm shamed for it.
Totally. And now I'm crying too loud. Like, I just like don't fit in. I don't fit in anywhere here. This is just not for me and I have to go home. Like, I need to go back. I want to go home, back to my house, my bed, like things that I've made that are safe for me. And I have just like a compiled of all of the shitty, hard feelings of not being good enough for 30 years. And yeah, I'm laying in the hammock and the main shaman comes over and says, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Not good." "What's wrong?" "You lied to me. Like, how I don't feel safe. I can't be here anymore." And I was just like going on. And then she's like, "This is what the medicine's showing you. You need to trust the medicine. When did you feel like this? How?" And she's asking the questions that like, how do you feel? When was the first time you felt like this? Do you feel like this in your real life? And then one other question. I don't know. I'm going to check my phone while I talk. But she's talking to me saying like, this is what the medicine does and like lean into it. And I was so mad. I was just like screaming into the blanket and just was like, "No, you're lying to me. You said this before, but like, this has nothing to do with ayahuasca. Like, you lied to me. This organization is corrupt and you're just stealing my money." And like so angry. And then I was like closing my eyes and stuff. And when I opened my eyes, I was ready to tell her to fuck off, but she was gone. So it was okay. So to answer your question, like, were there loud screaming and crying? Outside of the Maloka, I heard another person. I don't know who it was, but they were also screaming, crying, yelling, and
Processing like that.
Yep. And I know I was loud and was not safe in the Maloka because I was being too loud. And I'm just like, how can you tell me that I'm laughing too loud or I'm crying too loud, but you're not telling him that he's barfing too loud? Why is it okay that he's allowed to barf, but I'm not allowed to cry or laugh? Like, I was so angry and so triggered. Oh, so how do I feel? Do I feel this way in my life? When is my first memory of feeling this way? Who has this made me become? So that's kind of how you process and like, I'm feeling betrayed.
So who had it made you become? This person who was trying to always shrink.
Yeah, and stay into the little box and a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I won't be me because if I'm me, then I'm going to get shamed at. So then you have to be whoever I think somebody else wants me to be.
Right.
Instead of being who I am. And I felt it in two senses because, yes, I felt like betrayal, lack of trust, not good enough, all of those things, from being 6 and sexually abused, and also from growing up Mormon. I felt like I have already done this. I have already lived 30 years and spent thousands of dollars in money of this organization to tell me, well, this is what you have to do to live with Jesus again. And it's all a lie. And I'm like, you just lied to me. And I'm so betrayed. Now, Rhythmia, these people, this stupid, yucky medicine that you're giving me is going to fix it? Like, nah. Oh, okay, except I have to just still give you more money. Like, drink the Kool-Aid. No, thank you. Like, sober me up and get me home. I don't want to be here anymore. You betrayed me. You lied. Like, this is, like, I am out. So I was in the hammock. I got out of the hammock, and this is where it is like trippy.
Okay, I'm going to pause you right there.
Okay.
I'm going to pause you because I know that we're only halfway through the journey chronologically. And I want to be able to put this in sections.
Okay.
And so we're actually going to end the podcast for this section right now, and we're going to turn it into a 3-part podcast.
Okay.
Because I want to give it the justice that it's due.
Okay. Can I finish just this night?
Yes.
And then, because Wednesday will be a good separation time.
Yep.
Okay. So I fall out of the hammock and...
You fell out?
Well, ish.
Didn't get out easily?
Totally.
Okay.
And I was trying to surrender to the medicine, trust, even though I'm like, okay, but you lied to me, but I'm like, I'm still going through it, still doing it, whatever. I mean, I've been high on weed, and it's like a little bit time trippy and like, but still very much past, present, future. This was like 12 different dimensions. I can't even like explain to you the depth of the mind.
But you weren't
blowing.
You weren't feeling those 12 dimensions while you were angry and yelling at the shaman.
No,
it was
this
when you
was
fell
kind
out of the hammock.
After I like moved myself out of the hammock, and I was just like on all fours on the ground. I was like in the earth, and then like I was just closing my eyes, but I was like, I would open them and see the stars and the lights of the Maloka, and then I was like in the earth, and it like I have undiagnosed, self-diagnosed ADHD, and my brain was literally like, there's something on my leg. Why is my shoulder all wet? Book, once upon a time, story, bite, teeth, and like just
fragments,
saying things one by one over and over and over again, but just like so random things. There's a wart. I have something on my bum. Why is my toe itchy? There is this thing, story, once upon a time, Peter, Annie, when I did this, it literally was making zero sense. And just like my brain was just going off, firing on all 12 cylinders on so many different things. So I was on all fours, and I purged into the grass, and then was like in the earth. Like I like...
You blended with the...
Totally. And now looking back, I know and see that that was like the death of my ego and letting go, literally. Like there wasn't a beginning to me and an end to me and a beginning of the earth. I just like merged with the earth. I was covered in dirt and mosquito bites. I still have like 700 mosquito bites from just like, and I kept purging, and I realized in the morning that I had rolled into it and it was on my shoulder. And then even in my trippy, I was like, why is my shoulder wet? And like,
it's vomit.
Sitting, I know, it's my own puke. And then like thinking like, Annie, Peter, bite, why? Something's on my leg. And just story, once upon a time. Why do I keep saying the same things over and over again? And I would open my eyes and see the Maloka and then be like, I need to go to the Maloka. But then I'm like, I'm not safe in there. And so I would stay out. And I just like literally like buried myself into the earth. And I, like your face, I'm like, I can't even like explain it to like help you understand like the magnitude of the, I don't even know. It was just so weird and trippy and like next level. Like there was no, I could feel that there was no connection or no like
no
past,
delineation.
Present, yeah, nothing understanding. There was nothing. And then I would think something and I would open my eyes and then be like, okay, I'm trying. And then I would just like fall back into the mess of
the realm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I ended up saying like, I need help. And that's what they said. Like, if you need someone, just raise your hand or say, I need help. And I was still outside underneath the hammock. And like, I literally like buried myself. I wish that I could see now. I wish I could see me sitting there, because I would be sitting there talking to myself and then like literally digging into the earth and like I could feel things crawling on me and like
didn't matter.
Nope. It's like I was half aware of it, but not like there was no sense or connection or like understanding. My brain, even having lived through it, can't explain it to the full effect. So
what did you need help with?
I just was done. Like, I need to go back inside now. I felt like I need help. And so I said, I need help, please. And Diego, one of the assistant shamans, came and he said, what do you need? And I said, I think I need to go back inside, but I don't know what's going on. I keep saying the same things over and over again, but it's like weird and I don't know what's going on. And bite, story time. And like my shoulder's wet. And I was just then like saying what was in my head, like out loud to him. And I don't remember. I think he might have said, okay, just take a nice deep breath, and like helped me
center,
to ground again. And like eventually we stood up and he helped me walk back into the maloka and back onto my mattress. And then I just like laid there and like, what the actual fuck just happened to me? Like, I don't know what's going on.
And at this point you've had 2 cups.
Yep.
Okay.
I always had, they say, if you're feeling the medicine, come for the second cup. If you're not feeling the medicine, come for the second cup.
Oh, why didn't you have a 3rd cup then?
I was struggling hard enough. Like, it was never even in my
realm of possibilities
or awareness to have a 3rd cup on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I was still saying things and like just in a cycle, just like my mind was a hamster wheel, just going the same things over and over again. Bite, story time. What's on my shoulder? Something's on my leg. And then why do I keep saying the same things over and over again? And I was like stuck in this loop. And then Diego came back and I said, like, I need help. Like, why do I keep doing the same things? And he was like, well, why do you keep doing the same things in your life? And I was just like, oh.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. And it was just like that connection. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't remember a ton after I came back into the maloka. I got up and danced. So Tuesday night, kind of after the second cup, after they serve the second cup, then they have the musicians playing the music. And sometimes it's live, sometimes it's like recorded and they just add in their drums and stuff. But they had music going and I just was like, follow, I'm going to go and dance. And I was like, in my head, I'm on like, so you think you can dance? Like, I'm super good. And I was just like flowing and just connected with my body and just going with the music. It was so freeing. And that was part of me moving that energy and just like releasing it out of my body and just connected in the middle of so they had it was like an open area between, so men are over here, women are over here. And in the middle, they had an open space. That's kind of where we lined up to get the drink, the cups. And then they had an altar with different statues and crystals and things. And so I was like dancing around the altar and just like flowing. And then that was the end of Tuesday. Okay. And I was still like, I hate this. Like, I'm betrayed. Like, you lied to me.
Yeah.
And so all day Wednesday, I was like, this is the worst and I need to go home.
Okay. So for the listeners, as I'm laughing here, I am not mocking Nikole. And I think she can tell that.
Yes.
But just for those of you that are listening, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. Okay, so we're going to pause here and come back for part 3. And we'll talk some more.